Welcome to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Things.
And we're back, man. Episode 341.
Yes, sir.
Let's get right into it. Lotto and the Brokey challenge. Recently, Lotto showed support for a Waffle House employee fired after doing Brokey challenge at work. The TikToker claimed she was put on the unable to rehire list. That's some serious shit. But this is also why you can't be fucking around at work. But anyways, earlier this month, Lotto launched the Brokey challenge, inviting fans to create videos of themselves dancing to her latest track from the album Sugar Honey Iced Tea. While the trend gained traction, it also led to significant consequence for one TikToker who lost her job as a result. Social media user Yadira Ramirez posted a 27-second video featuring herself and more than 5 other Waffle House employees participating in Lotto's challenge. In less than a week, the video amassed over 23.4 million views. God damn, that's a lot of free promo for Lotto. Garnered more than 3.7 million likes and attracted nearly 19,000 comments, showcasing the viral nature of the challenge. However, 2 days after sharing the clip, Yadira posted another video revealing that she had been fired from her job. Only one day after the initial video went live.
Yeah.
But she got some cash from Lotto. Lotto put her in a video and gave her some money. I don't know how much money it was. I think it was $30K. At least she gave her $30,000.
That's like a year's salary right there.
Yeah, so she chilling. She was twerking and whatnot. She looked like she could be related to Lotto a little bit. She definitely she looked like she Afro-Latina.
Yeah, she got like some mixed vibes in there.
Yeah, she's definitely from the East Coast. Look here, man. You got to understand that your place of employment, if you don't have a backup plan, you got to follow the rules, man. You got to follow the rules. But I also think it's fucked up to put her on the what happened to a write-up?
Right.
Niggas don't give write-ups no more. They just fire you.
That's crazy.
I think what it is it's like they look at the virality of, the situation and they figure like we don't want a rapper being affiliated with Waffle House. However, Waffle House is affiliated with way worse shit. Like,
oh yeah, I got shootings in there.
Y'all be having fights. You guys had employees fighting the customers, throwing chairs. It's a video of a Waffle House employee that came out like 2 years ago. It was this white girl, and she was like throwing hands with everybody. And then somebody threw a chair at the white girl. The white girl caught it in the midair and was like, "Is that all you got, bitch?" And I'm like, "Yo, if you work at Waffle House, you might know karate, or you just might be a street fighter. I don't know." But that company has not necessarily had great press. Is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I think a write up would have been fine. But the thing is, they wanted to make her an example and drive the message home that we don't want that at our restaurant.
You think it's only because it was posted on her page, or?
I'm going to be blunt. I'm going to say this. I think if it was a country music song, they would have not fired her.
Yeah, but what I'm asking is, why is she the only one that got fired?
I don't know if she's the only one. There was other employees that did it.
Isn't that what the article said?
Yeah, that's what it said, but I don't know what their status of employment is. I don't know if they there's no way they could fire a whole staff because they need niggas to work. But probably because if it was from her account, they probably held her accountable.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Right? But I think it's bullshit either way. But if it was like a country song or like, Jason Aldean or something like that, then they would have been like, probably like not saying anything because it would have been positive press. But with Lotto, it's like calling people brokies and whatnot. Also within the song, there's kind of some degrading lyrics and about calling people broke, right? And this is like a subtopic from the main topic. Being broke doesn't make you a bad person. Why does society demonize broke people? For what the fuck?
I mean, it sounds cool in a song.
Yeah, it sounds cool in a song, but in reality, most people are broke in America.
Yeah.
So it's like, shut the fuck up with this. And it's like, you broke, you ain't got nothing. It's like, you don't have anything either. And a lot of these artists is calling people broke. You don't even have a good deal.
Yeah.
Like you don't even like somebody, you don't own your publishing, your masters, and you calling people broke. You literally on a hit to hit basis.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
advances.
Yeah. And you getting so many advances, you're going to be in debt up to your eyeballs trying to pay that shit back. But anyways, I just hate the way people that are broke are demonized. I made a TikTok about that. Like being broke is just a season. It's not like it's the rest of your life. I spent a lot of time being broke myself. So it's like, fuck, like you can't get a break anymore. Like, dude, like you already can't afford stuff. Now I'm getting beat down by rappers and lyrics.
Yeah. It's not a season for some people though.
Some people
it's a whole career.
Yeah. Some people it's their constant, what do you call it? Their identity. Their identity is broke.
Yeah.
If you broke like that, then you're broken.
Yeah.
But I think for a lot of people, it's that are just in a bad season.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've been the nigga that drove raggedy cars or had bad clothes or, couldn't afford gas or had a hard time affording food or, sleeping on my homie's couch because I was homeless. Like I've been through that type of shit.
Yeah.
But even though that was my situation at the moment, I was never broke. I was just having a bad season.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, man, a lot of people need encouragement. They need to hear that. But I think not enough rap really does that.
Yeah. I think, this is the thing about rap. Like certain things just don't sound cool in a rap song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, there's certain tones, certain cuss words and things like that just sound good in a rap song. And you do hear those songs every now and then, like those kind of positive messages, but they just don't have that same pizzazz. It's like calling somebody broke. Like it's better to rap about haters than it is to rap about love. It just sounds better to the listener's ear. But yeah, I just think like I get it. Like, in terms of a business, you don't want people you on the clock, like dancing in my restaurant. I can see why, like you said, why I would, have a conversation or like you said, give them a write up. But I don't see why you would fire somebody over this. This is just the nature of like what it looks like to be. I don't know how old that girl is, but that's just kind of what it looks like now. Like these people are on social media at work. They're posting TikToks at work. Like, you know what I mean? I just think that that's just the nature of the beast nowadays. But you can have a conversation about it like, hey, don't post TikToks while you're at work. We follow your accounts, blah, 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 blah. But I just don't think that getting fired over this is necessary by any means. But it worked out for her. She got some bread out of it. She got to hang out with Lotto for a little bit, go to the studio with her and stuff like that. Like,
Look, the reason why it's not safe to post these TikToks is because it's going to be up to company headquarters to determine if this is good or not, and it's always going to be subjective. It's not going to be something that has a clear cut, like you could do this or say this, but you can't say this. Like for example, all the press that Chick-fil-A gets, they fucking love it. They love it. There was an employee that stopped this robber. It was some dude that was trying to carjack somebody, and one of the Chick-fil-A employees tackled the dude to the ground, and then it went viral. And then people in the comments are like, wow, Chick-fil-A customer service is next level. And then they had all these memes about customer service. Do you, like, people at fucking Chick-fil-A headquarters is jacking off to that. They're like, fuck, oh my God, our customer service is so great. And they don't have a problem with that. But if a Chick-fil-A customer or Chick-fil-A employee was like calling somebody a bitch or something, that would obviously get them fired. Mm-hmm. Or if a person was like rapping lyrics to like a dirty song, like singing WAP or something, talk about how wet they pussy was while they was helping customers, they would get fired.
Yeah, how wet they chicken sandwich is.
Yeah, like this some wet ass chicken.
Some wok.
Yeah. I'm thinking of some quick-witted shit right now. The little ad-lib in the back. There's some sauce in this house. There's some sauce in this house. There's some sauce in this house.
Chick-fil-A got fire milkshake though.
I haven't had it.
Yeah, you gotta try it, man. It's good.
Damn, that's a trip.
Yeah.
Damn, that'd be dope if they remade that song and made it for Chick-fil-A. Wet ass chicken. Make that pull out game weak. Hoes in the house. There's some sauce in this house.
Chick-fil-A is I think they're like a very Christian-based company, so I don't see that happen no time soon.
I don't know, man. It depends. They wouldn't cut it if it made them more money and it gave them good press. They wouldn't trip.
Nah, they're not even open on Sundays.
They're like, y'all need to come to Chick-fil-A. This chicken to get your pussy wet. This some wet ass chicken. I put some Polynesian sauce on mine. You're like, oh my God.
That's comedy.
Yeah. But yeah, man, stop doing these challenges at work, man. You want to keep your occupation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you need to kiss people's ass, but just weigh the pros and cons of your actions.
Yeah.
You got to realize you represent your company, man. When you wearing that uniform and it says, even if it says McDonald's.
Yeah, sometimes people are also looking for an excuse to fire you. So you just got to, at least for me, this is how I approach it. You know, they may not want you there, or they may want to fire you, or they may be waiting on an opportunity to get rid of you. But at least don't give them an easy out.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Show up to work on time. Make sure you're not clocking out early. Make sure you're not, taking extra breaks or clocking in late. All these different things that can get you fired. Just, do everything by the book, so that way, they don't really have an opportunity to get rid of you. Because if you're doing all the necessary steps, they can do whatever they want to. But when you go file that lawsuit, like you got wrongfully terminated or whatever, then it's gonna be a long day for them, and they don't want that.
They don't want that. I remember it was quite some time ago, some years ago. I seen this porno, and this girl was wearing a McDonald's uniform. Mm-hmm. I was like, they ain't gonna like this.
Think she still worked there?
I don't know. She looked like she could make a good McChicken.
God dang.
Yeah.
She was taking a good McDickin.
She is getting quarter pounded.
McDouble penetration.
Oh, man. Oh. You know what's crazy about McDonald's is a Big Mac is nothing but a McDouble with just an extra piece of bread in the middle.
Yeah. I mean, it got the sauce and the lettuce, but that's pretty much it.
Big Macs is good, though. I'm not going to sit there and cap. I'm not one of them people that be like, oh, McDonald's are so nasty. Yeah. It's like, that shit actually be tasting pretty good. I ain't going to cap.
Yeah, they got the little $5 meal, too. Now that's solid.
Man, that shit ain't shit. 4 nuggets?
That's solid. I mean, this is the best you're going to get from McDonald's.
4 nuggets, and it's is it a cheese? Just a cheeseburger?
Yeah, 4 nuggets, some fries, a drink, and a McChicken or
a McDouble?
McDouble, yeah. I think the McDouble one is cheaper. Or I think the McChicken one is cheaper. I think the other one is like $6 or something. But yeah, that's the best you're going to get nowadays.
I don't know. I still fuck with Wendy's over them, though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about with McDonald's.
Like, nigga, Biggie Bag Crips. Nigga, fuck y'all. Fuck McDonald's, nigga. It's Biggie Bag
McDonald's
Crips.
It's just extremely expensive. So if you ain't got if you ain't got $10 on you, go get your little $5 meal deal.
Ooh, back in the day, I used to go to McDonald's. I met Ronald McDonald himself, but he was tripping.
They said E40 was at the fair this
I've
year.
heard some mixed reviews. I heard it was live, and I heard some people said it was kind of lazy.
Probably depended on where you were standing.
Yeah.
But I heard that they said, the fair was typical fair. There's some niggas up there. They said they was gang banging during the thing, like
Stupid.
Drunk, like during E40's concert, singing out Suwoo and all that other stuff.
It's just ignorant. I think gangbangers don't have shit to do, man. They come and ruin peaceful things, like peaceful settings for other people.
Yeah, they want to go in places and be seen and want to show off.
They want attention.
Yeah, it's like, dog, if you wanted that energy, then you can stay in your hood.
Yeah. You coming
have
around
a party with your people and be good.
Yeah, you coming around a bunch of law-abiding citizens that want to have a good time, and you're mixing that shit.
That's the most annoying thing about gangbangers in Bakersfield. I don't know if they do that everywhere. Maybe they do.
Oh yeah.
But in Bakersfield, it's like certain spaces where, like, just like the mall or Dave and Buster's or John's Incredible Pizza, like Chuck E. Cheese. Like, why are gangbangers crowding around these places where
I don't know, but I know E40 got a lesson for him. Like, don't get caught up gangbanging in a place you ain't supposed to. The police will fuck around and arrest you. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's comedy. Shout out to E40, man. That's somebody I want to talk to, because that guy. He speaks in like his own language. He has like his own slang / ebonics.
Yeah.
You'd be like, so how did you feel when you see a bunch of people in the crowd singing your name and chanting your music? Like, I mean, it's smoother than mayonnaise, man. But a lot of times it's a little bit bitter like mustard when I'm trying to get things going. You feel me? Domino's Pizza and everybody love that. You feel me? Like, okay. You feel me?
Yeah.
You lost me with the Domino's.
Slick talking.
All right, let's move on. Switching gears. Cardi B. Recently, we know of Cardi B's drama. It was all over the internet. I couldn't even avoid it. It was something about Cardi B every other couple minutes coming up on my fucking timeline. Recently, Cardi B says she regrets marrying Offset. Always been too good for you, end quote. Things are getting messy between Cardi B and Offset amid their second divorce. During the series of Instagram Lives on Wednesday night, Cardi accused her estranged husband of blowing up her phone, trying to make her jealous over him moving on from her. According to screen recordings shared on social media, including by hip-hop magazine WAP, we said the WAP rapper, also said she regrets her relationship with him. During her live streams, Cardi seemingly avoided naming the Migos rapper, but spoke directly to him. Cardi, who's in France for Paris Week, said, "I don't care about any other women whom Offset might be having relations. I'm too much of a woman for you, and I've always been too good for you." Okay, let's be clear. Ladies, I need to teach y'all a lesson right now. You don't even get to have this type of attitude when you keep taking the same nigga back. You divorced him 2 times and had multiple kids by him. If you felt you were too good for him, you should have got out of there. Ladies, stop acting like this when it's too late. You don't got a leg to stand on at this point. Like, you just look stupid. And then the nigga got you, like, she just had the baby. Mm-hmm. Like, once a man has proven he can't keep his dick in his pants, you got to let the nigga go. And it's sad. And especially to be a rapper and to have the certain messaging that she has in her music, you would think that she wouldn't be dumb to be with a nigga like this, but she is. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. Even Meg, like, what was Meg even doing around Tory Lanez? Like,
I mean, we don't need to bring Meg into this.
We don't need to bring Meg into it, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
The fact that he disrespected her and said, "Oh, she don't know how to take dick" and shit like that. Why are you around niggas like this? What the fuck are you thinking? Let me tell you, and I've just got to be blunt because I'm talking to the ladies. Why do y'all get so stupid for men? Like, it's when you really like a dude, you just turn dumb. And you just avoid what that man is. That man is showing you who he is with his actions. He is a fool and a clown, and you just stay there. Because you know what I think it is? I think the more women like a man, they make up excuses for this motherfucker. They just make up lies in their mind about this guy instead of like looking at this nigga for what he really is. He can't keep his dick in his pants. He's childish. He's trying to make you jealous with other women. If this is supposed to be your husband, it shouldn't be no other women around. All the answers are right there, and you just deal with it. And the reason why I'm being so blunt is because this is a very prevalent problem with women. You take the same nigga back 9 times. And then here's the worst part, Keith. You ready? Mm-hmm. And then you got the nerve to generalize every man after you deal with niggas like that. You just like, men just know they don't know how to do this and do that. And it's like, I understand you've been mentally abused by this clown for all these years. There are men that won't do you like this, though. But yeah. I think when you keep exposing yourself to this type of behavior, it has a long-term effect. Even as a man, it can have a long-term effect because it's mental abuse, Keith. Mm-hmm. Like, this nigga Offset was mentally abusing Cardi B.
Oh, you say that?
Okay, if he wasn't, I mean, look, in a way, he wasn't, but he was. It was free will. He wasn't forcing her to take him back. Mm-hmm. But he knew what the fuck he was doing, too.
Yeah.
There has to be some level of manipulation when you get away with cheating that much and doing this and doing that. There's some level of manipulation there. Mm-hmm. So, and then to make it worse, we'll get into the rest of the stuff. This nigga got busted. She started screenshotting this fool, and he was begging her to, like, jack off and shit. He was saying, "Can I jack off while you on the phone?" That's crazy. This guy's like a fucking, like a sexual deviant. Like, this nigga don't got no control.
I think that, to me, I mean, Cardi B is, you know, that their situation, their relationship is, you know, it's very back and forth in nature. My conversation is primarily about Offset. I think that at a certain point, when you get in your 30s and you are, you know, trying to build a family and you got a girl who's arguably, you know, the biggest female rapper in the world, at a certain point, you just got to grow up. Like, I think that, you know, this whole, like, and I'm not really talking about him. I'm more so talking about the idea of this, like, the maturation. You know, when you get in your 30s and you trying to build a family and you are actually trying to go places, and, you know, this is something that I, you know, kind of heard on Joe Budden's podcast, and they were speaking about, like, you're building stuff together. You're buying homes together. You're starting businesses together. You're doing all these things, and you're out here, like, like one cheating, that's like that, that's like wrong in itself. But then you're like like all the manipulation and like talking about having cheating on your girl with or trying to sleep with ops and showing proof of this and that. It's just like I think that stuff is very immature, and I think that stuff is not what is not healthy for somebody that you say you love. You know what I mean? Like, I just never understood like how you can treat somebody so bad. Like when you walk down the aisle with this person, you made vows to this person, and as soon as something goes wrong, like it's just like a mudslinging contest. Like I don't really get it. But yeah, I just think for anybody, like, when you're in your 20s, like you young and, not to condone it at any point in time, but when you're in your 20s and you're young and, these things happen, it's just like, you could just kind of chalk it up as like just being young and immature. But when you in your 30s and these things are still happening, it doesn't look like there's been much maturation through the process. That's why I can appreciate when, guys like J. Cole talk about like not cheating anymore, because he's such a good rapper that like he can spread the message in a way where it sounds cool.
Yeah.
But I just think that like, it's cool, get your rocks off, but you realize this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
You lose out on with it seems to be like somebody that really holds you down. Like
Absolutely.
just from the outside looking in, like for y'all to, for her to take you back after, cheating on her.
She can't get that time back either.
Yeah. So
It's a waste of time. The nigga was a waste of time.
I just think that, at a certain point, you gotta like just lock it down, dog. Like, just stay in the house, and all these just things. It's just a bad look. And this is somebody that is, I think me and Offset are like, we might be around.
Yeah, he's 32.
age.
I just seen it.
Yeah, so we're around the same age, and this is me, speaking from a person that is in, in that same age bracket. It's like, dog, you gotta just.
That's when all the bullshit stops.
Yeah, like you're at that point, and like not to keep reiterating myself, but it's Cardi B. It's like, and people look at Cardi B. Not Cardi B is a little ghetto, so I'm not trying to put her in the Beyonce, like not in terms of like charisma, but like just in terms of status. She is up there. Like she's at Fashion Week in Paris, and people look at her as like one of those kind of queens of hip hop. So you really fumble in the bag, and she gonna end up in in a relationship, and who knows what it's gonna look like. But that's just making you more mad. And I think that she's in a space, the way she's talking to him, like the way she's talking to him through live, you can tell that she's really, I mean, she may get back because they have a history of like falling off.
Yeah.
But there's a certain point when a woman get really fed up and then it's no coming back. And then you just out here sleeping with all these different women trying to numb the pain, but she's already done moved on.
The dumb part about it is when women get fed up, it's already too late, because you are forever tied to this man. So here's what I would advise women to do. Stop letting these niggas get you pregnant. It's easier to detach from this man when you do not have a lifelong creation with this person. You have to evaluate whether this is somebody that can control themselves before you give a child to them. That is a lifelong commitment. And a clown ass nigga like this is not somebody you want to be. If I had a daughter, I would tell her, until this man can provide for you, not even like just like financially, but like can provide for you in a way that's like emotionally healthy and not having you being on an emotional roller coaster, don't you dare give him a child, because now you got a kid involved. Mm-hmm. And your kids can see when this shit's happening. Trust me, I grew up in a household that was chaotic when I was a kid, and I seen all the shit they was doing, and it was not healthy for the household. So regardless of how much money they both have, they're creating chaos in front of kids. The kids shouldn't see that shit, man. Mm-hmm. That ain't it. But this is one of the screenshots she posted, and it says, she put in red letters, "Everybody can see I don't want you." And then the post, it says, or the text message, "You don't want me?" He said. Her, not really. And okay, you want somebody else? She put Offset and please, like, and he put, "Okay, I'll leave you alone." She said, "Please have a good night." He said, "I just wanted to know." And then the next one he says, "Can I jack off with you on the phone?" And then she didn't reply, and then he put a question mark. And the nigga, it says yesterday. So this is recent then. This nigga trying to jack off to Cardi on the phone.
That's an L.
That's a big L, bro. Don't
L,
you need to shut the fuck up now. You was begging your wife to jack off on the phone, bro.
Yeah.
Dog.
And I think the thing about it too is like when you separate it, you know, there's a certain way that you think that people should, you know, move or whatever the case may be. But like, you know, I think that's part of his downfall too. Is he out here trying to expose her? Like, oh, she slept with this person, or she did that, or she did that. Technically, they're still married, so it's still technically adultery. But I'm just saying, like, what happens a lot of times is niggas will cheat, and then they will be cheating constantly, right? And then anytime like they girl talk to somebody, or anytime they girl try to, I mean, yeah, they ex or whatever try to move on, then they try to like demonize them for doing something that they have been doing for years and years and years. Like, you know, you've already made your bed. So I just think that, you know, when it comes to like him trying to expose her for doing whatever, it's like it doesn't really have that same umph, because the nigga's been cheating for years. Like we've seen him on multiple occasions, you know, with screenshots and all these other things.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
Cardi posted all this shit with a dying battery to her battery was all the way damn near dead. She posted another screenshot. This shit is wild. It's like, actually, this is how he be. Thank you. And it says, okay, baby, let me know, cause I know you getting horny. He put pussy so wet when I pulled out, it was creamy. And then she said, I know. Oh my God, I was riding you, started fucking me back. This nigga said, I couldn't help but to nut. I couldn't even move. What the fuck, man? This is an L.
Wild.
It's like, I like when you tell me to fuck you, keep doing that. And then this is just wild. First of all, Cardi B, you need to keep your relationship off of social media. Like completely off. It's embarrassing. The reason why I know they're extremely both immature is because when you post private matters, you're looking for an audience. Mm-hmm. And that's not okay, because they don't know the intricate details of your relationship or your situation. So it's important to not involve people that were not there. Also,
this is just our entertainment.
Yeah, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. And some people are overly into it. Like me and Keith don't have conversations about things like this. But we figured, hey man, it was a big headline, so let's give the people what they want. Right. I drive a hard bargain with this. If I have an argument, let's say you have an argument with your significant other in any capacity, you better not even remotely say anything even subliminal about me online. Like nothing. Like don't get on there. Don't post a quote that says like, if a man can't treat you good, then do that. Like don't post nothing about me, because if you post that and somebody knows that we're together, then you're making me look bad and you're making the relationship look vulnerable. So here's the deal. If you cannot communicate something with me and you go to the internet, we're done. And we have to be done. You know why, Keith?
Why?
I can't trust you anymore. Mm-hmm. I cannot trust a woman who, like, especially if we had a minor argument over something small and you go to the internet and say something about me, it's like, oh no, I can't trust you. Your immaturity is too low. Because if I forgive this, then everybody that you know that knows me is looking at me crazy now. Mm-hmm. Fuck that. I'm not going to have your dad and your mom and all these people and your friend group looking at me weird because some shit you posted.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No. And that's a boundary that you want to put early. Like, hey, look here. Whatever goes on, I will never speak ill of your character to anyone or on social media. I will directly communicate that with you only. Mm-hmm. If you do that to me, just understand that is grounds for termination, because that shit is not okay. Yeah. But see, women will go to the internet and do that for two reasons. One, when they're immature, and two, when they don't respect the man that they're with. Mm-hmm. Women that have respect for their boyfriends or husbands, they move different. Because even when they get mad, they might vent a little bit to, like, maybe they have a friend or somebody they know, and then they calm down, and when cooler heads prevail, they'll come and talk to their significant other, and y'all work it out, right? But I also need you to be careful on what you tell your friends.
Yeah.
Because I don't want your friends looking at me crazy.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, such and such did this, and then all of a sudden your friends is like, it always gets weird for friends when you vent to your friends, because what happens a lot is like you being the friend, like you want to support them or whatever. And then you realize like they probably just gonna end up back together, and then you in this compromising situation, like, man, I know what you did to my friend. Like you said this, or you did this, or you talked to this person behind their back, all these different things, and then we kind of hating the person they in a relationship with, but then they back together and kissing and hugging and everything is all good.
This is the way I look at it. Whenever I have someone that would tell me about anything remotely sensitive or private. This mic seems like it's going out a little bit. Can you hear it? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't sound like it was sounding, but I just got to keep going by now. Fuck it. I give clarity. I don't give advice. So when someone is like telling me about something private or something serious, I don't try to insert my opinion too much, because I don't know the intricate details. I don't know if the person talking to me did something to trigger the person they're talking about. So I think it's best to give clarity, and you can give clarity without giving people advice or too much of an opinion. And I think that's the best thing to do as a friend. But it's a lot of men that can't hold water too. It ain't just women that talk. I've heard men like at work, like, oh, my bitch wife, she's so annoying. Why'd she do this or that? I'm thinking like, hey, homie, you talking about your wife like that?
Yeah.
Like, any man that is talking bad about their wife out in public, because I've heard it many times. I've heard men gossiping about their wives. And like, it's weird because I'm a single dude, but I would never do that.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
It's not going to, all you're doing is you're bitching about your wife to a bunch of men that are bitching about their wives. All of you guys are fucking soft.
Yeah, I think just in general, people look for any opportunity to like vent.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Cardi B's friend circle looks like, but I think that I was in a grocery store one day. I might have told this story before, but I was in a grocery store, me and my girlfriend, and we were, I was pushing the basket, and I was kind of a little bit ahead of her, and I seen this older married couple, like black dude. He probably was in his 50s or something like that. And he was like, oh man, you good. Like you get to make your own decisions. You ain't got to worry about your wife, throwing stuff in the basket and all that. You got it made, man. And like very shortly after, my girlfriend kind of walked up. And he was like, oh, you with your, he's like, oh, you with your lady. But basically I got out of that situation was he was looking for any opportunity to vent about his wife. And I just happened to be, the young black dude that walked by at the same time where he was ready to talk about it, and it just happened. So I think that, people need to stop being so frivolous with that type of information, man. Like a lot of these arguments are better served just between you and your partner, because 9 times out of 10, y'all gonna make up, y'all gonna be good after, and you don't want to bring the world into your drama. Because when Cardi B and Offset get back together, which they have a history of doing, I don't know if it's going to happen, but they have a history of getting back together. That all that stuff is null and void. All this internet chatter and the cheating and all that other stuff, and the screenshots and all that stuff, like it's just null and void, because they're gonna be good. But I just think that, when you go into the internet, like you said, that's very immature. But I think Cardi B, I think she has a interesting relationship with the internet, and I hope one day that she can just kind of not be so used by the internet, because anytime somebody disrespects her, or her relationship stuff, or all these different things, like that's the first place she goes to. She go to the internet and vent out her frustrations, or go at somebody, or talk crazy to somebody online. And I don't know. I just think it's it's just not. I just hope ideally you just mature past that conversation.
Here's the scary part. She's in her 30s already. And the scary thing about these situations when it comes to women, I'm speaking directly to women when I say this. When you get back with a dude over and over again, and you guys have an off and on again relationship for years, that man has put an imprint on you. Meaning that his imprint on you that allowed you to keep going back to him it's not gone. You're basically like, like Alcoholic Anonymous, where they say like, I'm a recovering alcoholic, and they probably haven't drinking in 5 years. But they say I'm a recovering alcoholic because you're not fully recovered from all of the, the alcoholism from the years. And it's no different than a relationship. You could be in a drunken state. Like that person's making you dumb. They're making you make these. It's not even that they're making you do it. You're just in a situation where you're making questionable decisions, and it's revolving that person. So that's a problem. So now, by the time you say, hey, I want something decent, I don't want to deal with somebody I'm back and forth with. And let's say you meet a good man. And I don't know if women ever mention this, but this is a real thing. By the time a woman finds a guy that is laid back, very nonchalant, but like respectful and decent, and he don't got a bunch of hoes hitting his line on his phone, and he's not doing inappropriate things, then he's going to be boring to you. That's the thing that's sad. And it's unfortunate. There was like, I've seen a lot of TikToks about this too, about women that mentioned they had chaotic relationships, and then they met somebody that was decent, and how he wasn't giving them any reason to be mad or anything. And she just says like, hey, I think you're a great guy. I just need to be with myself. Like they make up a bullshit reason to leave these good men. And it's because the chaos had became such a warm feeling, and you've lived in chaos for so long that you've normalized it. And when you're an older woman in your 30s and you still in these situations, what is it going to take? Most of us are creatures of habit. We don't mature. Most people don't change. Like, let's be clear. Change is real, but most people don't. So by the time you're 38, 35, whatever you are, and you meet that person, you're not going to be eligible for them.
Yeah.
You're going to be ineligible.
I think that behavior or that attraction to like that chaos I think that predates relationships though. That's
Absolutely.
Probably something that happens like growing up. You just kind of witnessing your parents argue all the time, and they fight, and then they make up, and they fight, and they on the outs, and you move out, and then you're right. You live with your dad for a little bit, and then they get back together. I think that stuff happens then, but yeah. So I don't think it happens like in terms of relationships. I think that's like the sequel.
You're right.
But yeah, I can see definitely that happening to where like people have been in toxic relationships, and then they just like get with somebody born, and they just like, I wish he would just yell at me, or I wish he would cuss me out every now and then. But
yeah. But here's the thing. You ready? Yes, you're 100% right about that predating a relationship. But it is your job as a adult to reverse engineer your brain to not deal with it, because the people who caused that trauma in your life are not going to fix it. It is your job.
No, that's facts.
So it stops becoming an excuse when you're a grown fucking woman or a man acting like this. It is no longer an excuse. You had enough time. Well, my mom was like this to me, and my dad was like this. You're almost 40, motherfucker. Why are you still using this as an excuse?
Yeah.
You got to man up or woman up and say, hey, I came from chaos, but not only do I want to change it, but I'm a mom now.
I feel like if you older than the time frame in which your parents did something to you, is like, dog, you've had ample amount of time to work on yourself. And, we're human, so, sometimes we get triggered by certain things, but at the same time, like, you got to be after you are grown, you are responsible for your actions, your reactions, and
absolutely
your interactions.
100%, Keith. And I'm gonna tell you this much too. I think that I believe in giving people grace, because we don't know what people went through. However, it is very true that we are all going to die someday, and if you become a victim of trauma that you had as a child and you get older, you just a weak motherfucker. Period. You are weak because you don't have the ability to change. You don't want to change, and you want to use it as a crutch. At some point, you got a man to fuck up. Because I'm going to tell you this, even financial traumas. If you grew up poor and you get older and you poor, you can't say, man, I'm broke because, my mom and dad was broke. Like, nah, nigga, you an adult. You have decisions you could have made that changed your situation. I didn't come from a lot. I'm not rich now, but and what I don't want to do is throw dirt on my dad's name, but I'm doing much better financially than he did. And that's because I've made some decisions that got me in that position. And that's just the truth. A lot of times, like your parents, like I mentioned before, they're not going to undo the trauma or whatever happened. They can't do it. It what's done is done. Now you have to be the outlier, and most people are not outliers. Mm-hmm. They're not, and they don't tend to change things. So yeah, you attract who you are at some point. Like you don't attract what you want. Like whenever you're a woman like Cardi B and you have dealt with men that act like this, and you say you want better, I think that it's okay for women to want better, and it's okay for women to want more. But what happens is they are not eligible for what they say they want, because if they get it, they're going to understand that they're going to feel out of place. Mm-hmm. And they're just going to continue to attract who they are. Most people attract who they are. Mm-hmm. Even if I've seen some people, like, even if you're like a good man or a decent person, that's not going to stop you from liking a stripper. Right? And I don't want to demonize stripper. I'm sure there's some strippers out there with good hearts. The truth of the matter is, that's not a good, I wouldn't risk that. It's just the truth. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got anything extra on this?
No.
All right. I'll have a closing statement on this topic for all the ladies out there. I want you to strongly consider what I said. I know that maybe some of the things I said was off-putting. I just want to let you know I don't care. Okay. I'm good. I don't care how you feel. I want you to understand that if you are valuable, and you, especially if you're childless and you do not have kids, do not permanently connect yourself to a man that cannot keep his dick in his pants and that is lying to you and disrespecting you and all of this shit, because you're going to fuck up. And now it's going to be even harder for you to find a different partner, because that man has an imprint on you now. Mm-hmm. And you may not realize it, but you took the nigga back 9 times. That's going to affect you later on when you get in a new relationship. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Yeah.
Switching gears.
Shout out to Cardi B.
Shout out to Cardi B. Get it together. Marcellus Williams' execution. Recently, there was a man who was innocent, or seen as innocent. There was not enough evidence that convicted him of a crime, and he was executed. And this is just a travesty of our judicial system. So let me read this. Marcellus Williams' execution was a tragedy, hopefully the last of its kind. On Tuesday night, the state of Missouri executed Marcellus Williams. It was a legally sanctioned murder. As the Washington Post put it, he was convicted of a 1998 murder that he said he did not commit. The evidence suggested that Williams should not have met his end this way. Even the St. Louis County prosecutor's office, which originally secured the death sentence, did not want the sentence to be carried out. Williams' fate was tangled up in a mess of mistakes, legalisms, and obscured what should have been obvious. He died because the people who could and should have prevented his death, each for their own reasons, chose to look away. That Williams was executed as an American tragedy, but he is not alone. The American death penalty system has shown itself to be riddled with errors, miscarriages of justice. The kind that occurred in the Williams case are legion. Though the precise number is not known, this is because we don't have a good handle on how many innocent people have been convicted of capital crimes. Law professor Samuel Gross and his colleagues note that there is no systematic method to determine the accuracy of criminal conviction. If there were, those errors would not occur in the first place. Let's be very clear. There was, if you understand the criminal system, you understand that the most exonerated people in America are black people. And let me be clear when I say this. This is not to state that, why are black people painting themselves as victims if they commit crimes? Listen. The most exonerated means found innocent of crime, which means those statistics. There was this dude, I forgot his name. I think his name was Charlie Kirk. I think his name was. He likes to debate like liberal people, right? And he was talking about only 13% of the country is black, but they commit an abnormal amount of crimes and this and that. Bro, that is a null and void, because though a lot of the black people being arrested and convicted are being exonerated. The number is let me see the number of exonerations. It's over 50-something% of of exonerations are black men.
Yeah.
That is a wild fucking number. Mm-hmm. So the thing is now the judicial system, it seems to me that it's getting better, but it has been way worse.
Yeah.
Like the type of arrests that were happening to black men were like, and there's like documentation of this, like black man whistled at a woman, given 30 years. Black man, and this is real fucking, not only articles, but real documents, like black man stared at a woman too long. Like even Emmett Till was killed. They accused him of like waving at a white woman, and he was lynched. And he was beaten so bad his face got swollen. And his mother preferred them to have an open casket so they could see her son's face beaten like that.
Yeah. But I don't want to conflate that, because that's not the judicial system. That's just people taking the law into their own hands.
Yeah, you're right, but I think you can conflate it, because the reason why is there's a marriage between men like Marcellus who have been executed, and also people looking the other way when the victims happen to be black. And some of the statistics of like black men are 4 times likely to get a longer prison sentence for the same crime.
Yeah, sad.
These things are so disgusting that you have to conflate some of them. And you're right, taking the law into their own hands. Now, black people are not being arrested now for looking at white women or waving at them and shit like that's not happening anymore. But I think just like everything evolves, so does like, the ideas of like inaccurate justice. He was convicted in 1998 and they killed him in 2024. And the evidence showed that he wasn't even there. And I forgot the guy's name. There was one guy that had the ability to sign a document to free him of being killed, and he didn't do it. I have to find it here.
That's the tricky part about those things. And I wish I had more details on what the actual, case looked like in 1998 or whatever. But it's just like a lot of this stuff is, I've been watching this, it's called Monsters, the Lyle and the Menendez brothers story on Netflix. Yeah. And when you hear a lot of these, and it's a screenplay, or teleplay or whatever, so it's not the real, all of it is not the real words that these lawyers and stuff are saying, but you start to hear these conversations about, being likable. You start to hear these conversations about, what evidence do they have, and performance and stuff like that. And you realize like a lot of this stuff is really about making the jury feel like, you're comfortable or you're a likable person. Even when they're talking about, people going in there, they want them to be emotional when they're sitting next to the lawyers and stuff like that. That's part of the whole presentation, what you're wearing and all these different things. They want you to look a certain way. So it just sucks, because what happens a lot of times is, you might have a what do you call it? A public defender. So you go in there and, they're not necessarily like, fighting for you. They're just trying to, they got so much work and they're backed up that they're not always doing their due diligence when it comes to these things. So I don't know, man. It just sucks that, it even got to that place, but it's just like it's an uphill battle for a lot of people, and like I said, I wish I knew more about the situation, but I imagine if he went in there with a public defender and they were looking for a person that looked like him, 5 foot, whatever, black male, such and such age.
Right.
And then they just threw the book at him, and, they probably, it's the same thing with the Central Park 5. When you get these young people in there and you scare them a little bit and you say like, hey, we got you doing this. And, they trip over their words and all these
Absolutely.
different things, and then all of a sudden, like, you got 30 years in prison.
You get coerced into it because they use legal jargon that scares you and telling you, hey, we're giving you a deal for this.
Yeah.
We're giving you a deal if you just confess to this. And it's like that's a problem. I seen an article recently of a man that was accused of killing his father. Only problem is his dad wasn't dead.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there was a missing man, and they just told this dude, like, hey, you try to kill your father, whatever. And I think the dude had like special needs or whatever. And I don't know if they did a good job of evaluating if he was all mentally there or whatever, but they're suing that police department. And it's like, bro, you can't. It's hard to believe that this shit really happens.
I think watching that show, I think it was in that show or somewhere else, but basically one of the lawyers or whatever, they basically said something along the lines of, they're not trying to find who really did it. They're just trying to pin it on somebody.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So they have a glimmer of evidence, and they're just trying to pin it on somebody so they can go on with their day.
Yep.
But yeah, but you just see the difference. Like, and I don't want to get too far into it, but, I have a cousin who was, shot in it's like a big case out here in Bakersfield. And I was looking at the information that the news outlet had posted. And I looked at the lawyer, and the lawyer is actually downtown. And it always stuck in my mind because the lawyer's last name is Hennessy, and it's a law firm literally down the street. Yeah. So I seen that name on there. I was like, oh, okay. I can see why like the case is going this way, because they have, a lawyer that has, a little name out here. Right. And if they had a public defender, it would not look this way.
Fuck no.
So yeah,
there's some lawyers that take things on pro bono, depending on the size of the case.
Yeah.
Like that dude that was on the OJ case took what's the dude's name that killed Nipsey? Something, I forgot his fucking name.
Eric
Holder. Eric Holder. There was a dude from the OJ case that took that case pro bono.
Right. Because they know it's a good look for them if they can get a favorable deal, or even if maybe he was facing the death penalty. But if they were able to get Eric Holder off on some probation, or, just something like that, that's a good look for them. And lawyers think differently. I don't know if I could probably move like that. But when you think about the way that they're moving, it's not even about right or wrong. Like I said, watching this show, you see that the lawyer that took on the case for it's Eric and Lyle. Eric's lawyer, Eric Menendez's lawyer, that was her game. Like, she would go defend these people that were on trial for murder. Like, that was her bag. She did a couple, she did multiple of those. So there's some lawyers that just like, it's just they're just doing their job. It's not deeper than that. So yeah, it's crazy, man.
I think the unfortunate thing about being a lawyer is when you're defending somebody and they're clearly like, there's so much incriminating evidence.
Right.
It's kind of like, fuck, you put me, I'm in a position where I can't even properly defend this guy.
But that's the game though. It's like I don't even know how to explain it, but you just realize that the same way like somebody would just wake up and they love trading stocks or something, like that's the same way lawyers look at crime or like getting people off. Because like I was saying with the case with my cousin shooting, there is the person that they're defending has all kind of evidence supporting the fact that they were complicit in this murder. But for whatever reason, they took, I don't know if how they came up with the money or whatever the case may be, but for whatever reason, they chose this lawyer, and they're doing their job, and they are, is actually benefiting the person that was on trial. So I think that, I don't know, it's crazy. I couldn't imagine myself just like, this person is a murderer, and I am, like if you're somebody's a serial killer or something like that, and you're trying to defend them. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, but that's what lawyers do, man. Some of these lawyers, man, I don't know if they got a morality issue or something.
Right.
I'm trying to defend that clown.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, there's nothing that can be done now. And
That sucks, man.
yeah, I think that it takes people dying and not just heirs, but you got to think about what has changed since 1998. Like it's obviously not a cold case, but we're talking about over 2 decades ago that we got to peel back the layers on this case. We got to, there's some of those people that were involved in that case probably retired.
Yeah.
There's all kind of shit involved, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, the dude, when they talked about him dying, he said, "Hey, man, if that's Allah's will, then I'm gonna die."
Yeah, they said he was at peace. Huh?
Yeah, he said, "I'm at peace with it. If I'm gonna live, I'm gonna live." And I can only imagine how that feels, man.
Yeah, it's crazy too. I just think that the death penalty it's tricky in itself because this is what happens sometimes. Like oftentimes those people that are on death row are still saying they're innocent. You know what I mean? But like you said, all these black people getting exonerated. If they're getting exonerated for things like murder and things like that, and they're fighting a death penalty or life in prison, that's a possibility, man. So that's why they've kind of done away with it in California. I don't think there's been somebody that died on death row, or I don't know the terminology, but I don't think somebody's been executed in California in many, many years. But I think that as much as you see people that are like an Eric Holder or something like that, and you'd be like, dang, this person deserves life. But what happens is when they're facing these charges, then if they get convicted, then that's that they can potentially get executed. But if you have it's like when you got evidence like that, like video evidence, like maybe it's okay, but sometimes it's just like you get a couple witnesses that said they seen this person, or you get some recordings or something. Like nowadays in 2024, it's a little bit more legit. You know what I mean? In 1998, it probably was somebody that was walking down the street, walking their dog, and they seen a profile of a person, and they went up on the stand and they said it. So it's just like it's I don't know. The way I see it is just like if you are going to execute somebody, you need very, very. And so I almost think you need a new case, if that makes sense. Like you convict the person of doing it, and then if you see they need the death penalty, I feel like you need to bring up the case to make sure this is the exact person, because this could happen probably more times than not.
You need some more opinions on that. But it says here, as of August 8th, 2022, the National Registry of Exonerations listed 3,200 defendants who were convicted of crimes in the United States and later exonerated because they were innocent. 53% of them were black, nearly 4 times their proportion of the population, which is now about 13.6. So whenever you hear somebody, I need you to really listen to me. If you ever hear somebody say, black people, only 13% of the population, they commit a vast majority of the crimes. Let me read this again. 53% of them are being exonerated. So I'll be blunt if you ever hear that statistic of whether it's a black crime statistic or a disproportionate amount of crime statistic, it's a racist talking point. Because anytime they say black on black crime, did you know that it is factual that you are more likely to die at the hands of a person who looks like you, whether you're Asian, white, or black? That is a real stat. If you don't believe me, Google it. But for some reason, it just sticks when someone's black. And then all these exonerations are happening, which is wild. 53%. That's more than half the population, Keith. That's disgusting. Like we got a real conversation to have here. And this is something that the conversation of race is exhausting, and I understand that. But there are certain times when you legitimately are not pulling the race card. You're just basically showing the statistics to people. These are real people that are being exonerated for crimes they did not commit. And 53% of them is black. Can you tell me why that's happening then, please? Is it just a mistake? Is this an honest mistake? Or what's going on? Mm-hmm. If you cannot give me an explanation, then you need to really dig deeper into what I just fucking said.
Yeah. And that's just people that have been exonerated. It still doesn't really account. There might be a little bit more innocent people, but they just don't have the means, the resources, the know-how to really, help themselves out. Because a lot of times these guys, they get in there, they might, start studying law and try to figure out a way to get themselves out. But there's some people that may not be able to read or something like that, or they may just, they don't really have the family members to help them out.
You just said it. A lot of people that end up in prison, a lot of the illiteracy rate of those guys is very high. Mm-hmm. So they don't have the how do I say? They don't have the capacity to go through a bunch of legal documents. Mm-hmm. They don't know all the parameters and jargon and of getting themselves out of prison. There's been very few people that can represent themselves to get themselves out. Mm-hmm. I think Tupac Shakur's mom got herself out. She represented herself, which is wild. But yeah, she did that way back. Got herself out of prison because she represented herself. But if you don't have money for somebody to represent you, or you don't have like the education to go through the proper channels to defend yourself, you're fucked. Mm-hmm. A lot of these exonerations probably happen due to lack of money. Mm-hmm. Did you know that there's some people that get lost in the prison system?
Yeah.
I don't think you know what I'm saying. I'm saying that they get locked up for a petty ticket and they just leave them in the system and don't let them out.
Didn't that happen to dude for New York?
Browner or Khalif Browder. Mm-hmm. And bro, I watched that documentary because I've been hearing about it. Bro, I was in literal fucking tears because it was something petty and he ended up staying in there for a long time. Mm-hmm. And it fucked with him so bad he took his own life, bro. That shit had me crying. I couldn't believe how the fuck that would happen. Mm-hmm. It's like, come on, man. Like, you just act like I'm not a human? Like, that wasn't even that long ago. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Was it Khalif Browder? And Jay-Z was the one that, like, I don't know if he didn't narrate it, but he was like
they do. I think it's Rock Nation Films or something like that produced it. Yeah, that story. I never watched the documentary, but yeah, that story is very sad.
Yeah, he died in 2015. Who was held at Rikers Island complex without a trial, by the way, between 2010 and 2013. So he did 3 years for allegedly stealing a backpack containing valuables. During his imprisonment, Browder was kept in solitary confinement for 800 days. 800 days.
That's crazy.
It's disgusting, bro. Mm-hmm. It's disgusting. And we can't sit here and just act like this is not a problem. Mm-hmm. And we can't sit here and just let people say, oh, black people are just making things up. It's not as bad as you think. It's worse. Mm-hmm. For stealing a backpack, they don't even give you a trial for 3 years. And then you spend 800 days in solitary confinement. And then video proof showed that when he was let out of solitary confinement, he was getting beat on by prisoners. He was getting beat on by corrections officers. Corrections officers were doing very foul things to this young man. Mm-hmm. And he was just a kid, man. Mm-hmm. And he's 1 year older than you. He would be 33 because he's 93. Mm-hmm. No, he'd be 31. He'd be 1 year younger than you. Mm-hmm. So think about that. Mm-hmm. Let's take Keith back because 2015 was 9 years ago. So basically 10 years. Which would make him, 21 years of age? Mm-hmm. And you're being exposed to Rikers Island as a young man?
For stealing a backpack?
And he didn't even steal the backpack. Mm-hmm. He was allegedly stealing a backpack, and he did fucking 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Damn, that's sad, man.
Yeah.
But that's what it looks like. That's the unfortunate part about being black in America. That's what it looks like, just real heavy-handed. That makes sense. Okay, all these things, but the thing that sucks about it too is there's some people that really do crimes out there, and you know Absolutely. What I mean, and they are justifiably they get what they deserve. But then there's some people that just kind of get clumped together with some of these other criminals, and it's like like you get situations like that, a very young man that took his own life.
And they're very, and this is, I think it's our responsibility, not only as podcasters, but as black men, to bring real light instead of just saying the world is racist, and drowning out everybody with just making these very blanket terms. I think it's important to add nuance and context. The stop and frisk is probably one of the most racist things that have ever fucking happened. And this is in 2023, 16,971 stops were recorded. 11,613 were not arrested or given a summons, 68%. But here it is. 9,939 were black, which is 59%, right? 5,166 were Latino. 942 were white. 6%. 6%. Now you tell me, what is it about the white guy that looks so fucking innocent? That shit bothers me, man. Whenever I see this shit and people just are like, oh my God, they're just complaining again, blah, blah. Bro, 59% of black people being stop and frisk. If you don't know what stop and frisk means, it's like, hey, you, come here. And then you search them. What is it about me that's making you want to search me so bad? Can you fucking explain it? And Chris Moreau said on the Brilliant Idiots podcast, he said, I don't have a problem with stop and frisk if you search everybody equally. And I agree with that. If you are equally distributing stop and frisk, here's a better one. Go over there on Wall Street and start stopping and frisking them rich white people and see how many of them complain. Because it seems to be poor black and brown people that getting searched all goddamn day. Go somewhere, go to the best area in town and just stop people and pull them over and frisk them. That's all I'm saying. Just do it all equally.
Yeah.
I got a clean record. I ain't got no crime on my record. I ain't never committed a crime. But I've been stopped by the police so many motherfucking times, I can't count. And it's blatant, man. It's blatant. Has it happened as much recently for me? No, it is not. Remember the time we was together, we was going to the gym. This is years ago, way before the podcast, actually. And a cop had somebody pulled over. He had a Mexican dude pulled over. And then we drove by. Cop hopped in the car, did a U-turn, an illegal U-turn, drove across the street, pulled us over.
Yeah.
For no reason. He didn't state why he pulled us over. He didn't say nothing. He just said, license registration. I was like, no. He said,
So are you on
no.
probation or
Are you on
parole?
probation or parole? He didn't ask for my license and registration. He didn't say nothing that pertained to the stop. This motherfucker just said, are you on parole or probation? Basically, hey, nigger, why are you driving around being a normal person at 8 at night? That was disgusting. And it's happened to me so many fucking times. And we got to sit here and watch motherfuckers tell us that we making it up. Let me tell you something. If I had a body camera on me over a decade ago, the shit that y'all would have seen, you would have been disgusted. It was one time the police searched my car one time, bro. And I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck? It was 2 cops searching my car. Here I am. At the time, I was about 24. I was about 24 years old. I'm on the curb, sitting there on the curb with handcuffs behind my back. And I was over at Fletcher's at the old place. Had me on the sidewalk with handcuffs on for no reason. No crime was committed. I was not even accused of a crime. I was told just to get out the car. This shit happens too much, man. Too much.
Yeah.
Recently, though, in recent years, due to body cams and due to the egregiousness of some policing, the shit got better. It did. But it's still happening, though.
Yeah.
You know, getting shot in the head over a bottle over a boiling water on the stove is crazy.
Yeah.
But my thing is don't feel bad for me, please. Because don't feel bad for me. I feel bad for all them people in the 90s with no motherfucking body cameras. That's the people. I feel bad for the people in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and 2010s. That's the motherfuckers I feel bad for.
Yeah. Yeah. But the thing about the 2010s is that, I mean, even in some of the 90s, you have Rodney King in these situations where there was actual surveillance on some of these cases and they still got off.
No, not really. Rodney King was on a camcorder.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
There was still surveillance.
Yeah, it was
People seen it is what I'm trying to say.
But hold on, though. There's nuance. The nuance is, well, that's terrible, but most cops are good. They don't do that. So as long as you have the conversation surrounding most cops aren't like that, it kind of buries the narrative of police abusing their power. Like I mentioned here many times, I said, I'm not going to roll with the narrative that most cops are bad or good because I can't quantify that. But what I can tell you is that they're human. 100% of them are human. And humans are capable of anything. So when you see that crime where Rodney's getting the shit beat out of him by like 7 cops, he getting beat down, and they let the cops off with no jail time.
Yeah.
Because that was after that. That's when the '92 L.A. riots popped off. But that type of scenario in today's world is not going to happen like that. It's just not. The George Floyd shit, that was disgusting. That was probably the most, and the thing about it too is people say like, oh, well, he was a terrible person. It's like, look here, man, let me explain something to you. I don't know George Floyd. I can't speak for his character. But the way he died like that, of an intentional death, there's no excuse for that. Especially if you're wearing a badge.
Right.
What's the big dude that died? They couldn't breathe.
I forget his name.
Yeah, I forgot his name too. But it's been cases like that. But I think that there's a narrative being put out like, oh God, here we go again. Black person, white officer. Like what? We don't know what the black guy did to have this happen. My thing is I tend to wait for the evidence because there's been some cases where I'm not standing up for that black person. They fucked up. Remember we was talking about some dude, I forgot he got hit or he got shot somewhere.
That was a dude in Atlanta.
Yeah.
That was like fighting the police and all kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, I can't defend that, bro. Like I can't defend that. Bro was tripping. But in a case where somebody is just minding their business and they get fucked up, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of those.
There's that, man. I could talk to him blue in the face. This is why we tend to not lean into these conversations too often. Because there's always going to be some form of injustice taking place all over the world, in America, wherever else, and you will overexert yourself trying to talk about all this shit. Yep. Let's go ahead and move on, man. Switching gears. Mayor Eric Adams indicted. So here we goes, another politician abusing power. New York City Mayor Adams pleads not guilty to federal corruption charges as New York's governor considers removing him. New York City embattled mayor pleaded not guilty Friday to federal corruption charges after prosecutors accused him of using his power to influence and garner free trips, luxury hotel stays, and questionable campaign donations. Mayor Eric Adams is charged with bribery, wire fraud, conspiracy, and 2 counts of soliciting campaign contributions from foreign nationals. I am not guilty, Your Honor, Adams said in the lower Manhattan federal court. Look here, man. Mayor Adams is a politician. Politicians are corrupt. All of them. All of them. I'm not about to sit here and say, oh, Kamala's not like that, or Kamala's not like that. Joe Biden's not like that. Donald Trump's not like that. I think they're all, in some capacity, they are all corrupt. Because I think in order to be in that type of position, whether it's president or in some form of government, you have to have some dirt on you in order to be a part of that small group of people. You think Nancy Pelosi ain't got some shit going on? Like Nancy, the super pander, the one that did the Wakanda garb and fucking did she do a Wakanda sign?
I think they took a knee.
They took a knee and then she put her hand like across her chest or something.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, man, stop with this bullshit. We don't give a fuck about this. Like, chill with that, man.
Yeah. I think Mayor Adams I think he's an entertainer. And I think that's his downfall. So I guess he's been, taking these trips to Turkey and,
Yeah.
getting money and stuff like that. And I just think that, like, I was telling Eddie earlier, I was like, I'm glad that there are still people out there that are above, like, the how would you say, being bought, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, there's these people in New York. I think these are the same. It's the same district that indicted Puff Daddy, and I think that they're out here and they're trying to bring these people down to the best of their abilities. It's almost like with the Frank Lucas thing, right? You have all these police officers and everybody just kind of getting bought out, and then you have one guy, at least from the movie. I don't know how it really played out in real life, but you have one guy, Russell Crowe, who was just like still fighting a good fight. You know what I mean? So I think with Mayor Adams, I think that he's just like, I think this is gonna be quick. They probably have been following this money for a long time, and this is how it looks. When you're a mayor, like, for example, the mayor in Bakersfield, I seen her. She had pulled up to this event where they were giving out computers to these kids and whatnot. And I don't know what her, what it looks like for her. But when I seen her, she had it looked like probably like a 2015 Honda Accord. She pulled up to the event. She got out of her car. She spoke to the people or whatever, and then she drove off. But when you start to see these other, and and Bakersfield is a fairly large city. You know what I mean? So if you had, I don't know how the mayors get paid or what their salary looks like, but I'm just saying, if you a mayor in pretty much any city around the world, like, you should not be, a freaking millionaire or taking first class trips just based off of your salary of being the mayor of said city. So, so if you out here taking first class trips and stuff like that, you doing something a little underhanded, or you a business owner. But more than likely, you probably doing some, getting some money from other countries to influence political affairs that go on in New York and stuff. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a quick one. I think they're gonna get him out of there.
Yeah, they'll get him out of there. But I think I don't know who wanted him out of there, but I think that most of these politicians can be all it is basically lobbying, correct?
You talking about just in general, or with this case?
Like basically leveraging things and having these different deals?
I guess you would be getting campaign monies and different things like that, from people, and they probably want some influence on, the things that you would vote for and whatnot, or the bills and stuff that you would pass. But I mean, I don't know how it works on a mayor level, but
here it goes. The definition of lobbying: influencing or attempting to influence legislative action or non-action through oral or written communication, or an attempt to obtain the goodwill of a member or employee of the legislature. Mm-hmm. So the way that they lobby, I think Andrew Schultz mentioned this, is like they can't give direct funds, but they can have like a fund or benefit or like a fundraiser dinner where they have people that are donating $10,000 for a plate of food. Right. And you get enough people that do that, they're donating to the campaign through that. Mm-hmm. And you're getting your hands on that money legally, but it's still a form of it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is why I don't trust politicians. They can be bought. Me personally, I like I like Robert Kennedy at one point, but I don't like him at all now. Mainly because he's an independent, and he all of a sudden started leaning into Trump. But if he was leaning into Kamala or Trump, I'd be like, bro, why can't you just remain independent? Like, now you just throwing your hands up because you don't feel like you have a chance. And on top of that, he got busted with this 30-some-year-old chick having pictures of the woman's pussy.
He was bragging about her or something?
Yeah, like, basically, like, this shit crazy, bro. Let me pull it up. It's like, come on, man. Come on, Rob. He's 70-some years old. RFK News.
He look his age, too.
Yeah. Olivia Nuzzi is her name. Nuzzi. And RFK Jr.'s affair was exposed because he bragged. Here it goes. He bragged to his friends about her nudes. It says, between New York Magazine, Olivia Nuzzi, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was exposed because he frequently bragged about it to his friends. The 71-year-old former independent presidential candidate reportedly boasted about the affair and about nude photos Nuzzi, 31, she only 31, sent to him so widely that the word reached New York Mag. According to the Daily Beast, Haskell subsequently confronted Nuzzi about it in a one-on-one meeting held September 13th at the blah, blah, blah. I think she was married, bro.
God dang.
Yeah, and he's definitely married.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, bro, why are you bragging about this chick? So he's probably just addicted to power or attracted to it because he's 70-some years old.
Yeah.
She was getting those old balls. She was loving those old-ass balls. God damn.
That's crazy.
And he was smashing. So that's the thing. These people got too much fucking power.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going on? I don't know what's happening, but people are just getting exposed now. It's coming out. Robert Kennedy exposed. P. Diddy exposed.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucking Mayor Adams exposed.
Mm-hmm.
If it's more people getting exposed, I'm gonna start wondering who the fuck is doing it.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of it is technology. I think there's just more access to people and resources and stuff nowadays, and these people getting caught up. And a lot of times I think these people, whether it's the phones or social media or emails or phone calls or whatever, like we just got so much, you can't really hide anything anymore. So I think that's part of the reason why, like for example, with P. Diddy, if you are abusing your wife back in, not even in the 90s, because there was a lot of surveillance back in the 90s, but it probably was like, a tape and, you could probably expose of certain things. Like we seen Tupac's, we can see him literally walking through the hotel, the casino in Las Vegas. But it's just, it wasn't as much, surveillance back then or technology to catch certain things. But now 2024, like whether it's a DM on social media, a screenshot from a text message, or like nudes in this case, like it's just too much technology. And if you're not really if you don't run a tight ship, then it's possible that you could end up in this type of situation, because everybody getting exposed, man. Even Jerry Jones.
Oh man, yeah, that's another one. He like about 5'9", run about a 4'5", 9-inch dick. It's like, dude, why are you? And nobody's giving him a hard time for this.
Yeah, it's kind of been. I guess he didn't do anything illegal, but a lot of people aren't really talking about it, which is kind of strange.
Yeah, the same thing. Like no one's talking about Brett Favre anymore. Brett Favre just mentioned that he's came down with Parkinson's.
Yeah.
And, he's getting empathy from people, and I understand it, right? I totally get it. But let me be very motherfucking clear. Give them people their money back.
Right.
Let me be very clear. I'm not void of empathy of his situation, but how much empathy do you have for them people you stole from?
Mm-hmm.
I think whenever you do something as callous as what Brett Favre did, you should not even seek empathy. You need to just shut the fuck up. That's just my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. Because do you think the people that you stole money from, they were not also sick?
Yeah.
They could have definitely been sick. They could have had illnesses and ailments, and they probably needed that extra income in order for them to keep their household, with some form of finances in it. But no, Mr. Millionaire stole all the goddamn money.
Yeah.
You got Parkinson's now, and God bless you, man. I hope you okay. Mm-hmm. But hey, buddy, can't expect empathy from that.
I haven't got nothing to say about that.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not trying to be judge and jury and executioner, but I'm speaking the real. When you steal from people and you hurt people, and now you're hurt, you should not expect empathy. Just shut up. That's period. That's like you killing somebody and somebody kill your mom and you like, I can't believe they killed my mom. Well, what about the motherfucker you killed, nigga? What the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, nobody, look here. Nobody is ever letting you off scot-free. Nobody. And let me tell you something. I think P. Diddy is the best example of this. Who knows how long he was doing these freak-offs and leveraging his power and taking advantage of people and drugging them and everything. And he got so comfortable with it. But here's how karma works. It might not happen to you in 2 months, maybe not even 2 years, maybe not even in 20 years, but it's going to happen. And when it happens, it's going to happen hard. Hard. And I feel like there's two groups of people. I feel like there are people who are blessed because they're good human beings and, you know, they do good to others. And I do also think that if you believe in God, then that you also believe in the devil. You know the devil is real. And I feel like the devil be gifting people. I feel like the devil will give you what you want when you work for him. But the problem with that is that blessing has a life expectancy on it, buddy. And when it hits you hard, it's going to take everything from you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because R. Kelly was having a great time peeing on underage women, underage girls.
Yeah.
And they got his bitch ass, and now he's locked up.
Yeah.
So there goes. Everything done in the dark.
Yeah.
Everything done in that motherfucking dark. It's going to come out.
R. Kelly having concerts in Pelican Bay.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Two-stepping in there.
He probably having some, what do you call that? What do they call those things? A talent show? I'm not fooling around with you.
That's crazy.
It's like, yeah, that's my song, yeah. It's a nigga in there with red lipstick ready to handle R. Kelly.
Dang. God dang.
It's like, hey, I love you, R. Kelly. Your booty look good. All right, man. Let me go. You want to wrap it up with the next one here?
Yeah.
You want to get the Halo or you want to get a Dolph?
We can talk about Young Dolph.
All right, let's wrap it up with the Dolph. All right. Unfortunate news here at the end. Switching gears. Young Dolph shooter convicted. Young Dolph. Justin Johnson found guilty in murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph. Justin Johnson was found guilty of the murder of Memphis rapper Young Dolph, whose name is Adolph Thornton Jr. A jury made up of 9 white women, 2 black men, and 1 white man found Johnson guilty of September 26th. White women don't fucking play. When they come together, they'll say, "You're guilty." We are the leaders of this neighborhood watch program, and you are out of this neighborhood. We are a part of the HFA. We want you out. All right. Let's see. First degree murder, guilty of conspiracy to commit first degree murder, and guilty of being a convicted felon in possession of a handgun. The jury deliberated for about 2 hours. He was sentenced to life in prison for the first degree murder charge. Johnson will be sentenced on the other charges in November. Young Dolph was killed November 17, 2021, when Johnson, convicted of the crime and admitted gunman Cornelius Smith fired shots into Makeda's homemade butter cookies on Airway Boulevard. During the trial, Smith testified that he and Johnson carried out a 100,000 hit on Young Dolph put out by Anthony Mims, also known as Big Jook, the brother of Memphis rapper Yo Gotti and member of the record label CMG. Yeah, I think this hit was from Yo Gotti. And I got to say this. And the reason why I have to say it is the amount of times that Young Dolph was shitting on him on records. Like the amount and the actual, how do I put it? The amount of depth that Young Dolph was going into about Yo Gotti. About how I fuck your bitch, that's why you mad, nigga. Big head he was calling him a big head motherfucker on multiple records. Multiple records. And he made that song 100 shots. They shot at his car over 100 times and didn't kill him. So there had been a hit out for a while. And it's Yo Gotti's brother. People say, well, it wasn't Yo Gotti. I think Gotti did it, man. I think he put that hit out. And I normally don't want to just speak.
No, I'm not going to say that.
I have to. I have to.
I'm not going to say that because you are talking, the people are telling you their own story. It's not like, this is not like he say, she say. The people that committed the murder said that Big Jook told us that he would pay us $100,000 to do this. I mean, maybe Big Jook,
That's what I'm
Yo
saying.
Gotti came in somewhere else. But I'm telling the people that were on the stand, they didn't mention Yo Gotti. They said Big Jook is a person that told us that he would pay us $100,000.
That's what happens when you take the fall. But
I don't.
Look, man, I gotta call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
And look, at the end of the day, I don't know this, but speaking from the heart, I think Yo Gotti put the hit out, and I think it's too close. His brother is the one that had the money. Like, come on, man. It's kind of like being the star basketball player and having a gun on you, and then you hand it to your buddy and he take the fall so you don't go to jail. Like, this shit really happens, and my thing is it's okay to have a healthy skepticism, Keith. Right? Because they're using names and they're saying who did what. But when you listen to the music and the amount of assassination of Yo Gotti's character, calling him a bitch multiple times, calling him a big head, ugly, fat motherfucker, and I fuck your bitch and that's why you mad, and you offer me a terrible deal and I turned you down. Like, all of this shit, anybody that listens to Young Dolph, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that happened for a matter of years. Even on the Breakfast Club, he mentioned it on the Breakfast Club. At first, he was close-lipped about it, but then he just went from 0 to 1,000. And he was going in on Yo Gotti over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And that's what would give me cause to believe.
But that's the thing, though. Like, that the case is not about like killing Young Dolph, because the people that got on the trial and they said that there was a $100,000 reward for anybody on the label or anybody from the gang. They just so happened to see Young Dolph driving by, and they just took advantage of the situation because they knew he was in town. But if it was anybody else, I mean, I don't know all the people that are affiliated with Young Dolph. I just don't. I mean, I just think that's like,
it's some street shit.
Very like
It's some street shit. And Big Jook got blasted.
Yeah,
he got shot at outside of Perrian's. So,
but the biggest thing about this case is that these dudes, like, they threw away their life and they never got paid. Like, that's the story here. One, you take Young Dolph's life, and I think it's unfortunate. But the thing about it is that, like, it kind of comes with the street politics. You know what I mean? Like, as fans of music, we're sad and it's in that fortunate situation. But this is just kind of like what comes with the territory in these situations. But the saddest part is, like, these young dudes threw away their whole life and never even got paid. Imagine being promised, like, $100,000 for doing anything, like, especially anything that's like very risky, and then you do it, and then you call in a person like, "Hey, it's done. Like, what, where the money at?" And then you only get like $800. You get like $300 here, and then the next day you get a couple hundred. And the dude is doing this on his daughter's birthday.
Oh my God!
So
see, that's the thing. You don't know how desperate people are, and I think as artists, as rappers, or as successful people. And I gotta say this, when I mentioned Nipsey, I think that Nipsey being in that mall that he basically invested in, I understand that he wanted people to see him. He didn't want to feel like an outsider. But once you become that successful, you can't just pull up like that no more. You just can't. And what happened to Nipsey is a prime example of that. And some people say, "No, that ain't true at all. It was just a crazy day." And they can't. Nah, bro. When you are in a close proximity of people who are in poverty, and it's a gang riddled area, you got to be careful how you move, man. And it was somebody that was a Crip that did it, which is wild. You would think that a person in the Crip ain't gonna shoot another Crip, but jealousy will do that. And then Young Dolph trying to get cookies. Like, think about the way that they both died. Dolph going to get cookies. Mm-hmm. Nipsey is in a strip mall that he owns, empowering people in that area, and they both get killed. Mm-hmm. They both should have never been over there, man. That's just my personal opinion. I just don't believe that you need to be in a close proximity of people or around people that want to kill you. And that's regardless of who you are. Like, if you let's say for example, you Eminem, You don't need to be hanging out on 8 Mile.
Mm-hmm.
What you doing over there on 8 Mile, Eminem?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. What was Eminem's name on 8 Mile?
B Rabbit.
Was it B Rabbit?
I think so.
You sure?
No, who's B Rabbit?
B Rabbit was Malibu's Most Wanted.
Mm.
I think it was Malibu's Most Wanted.
Yeah, what was his name?
I can't remember. It'll come to me. But B Rabbit was Jamie Kennedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you getting your white boys mixed up, man.
Getting all my white rappers mixed up.
Yeah, that was straight. That was flat, blatant racism, man. You did this last week too, man. You got to stop disrespecting white men. Last week you said
no. His name is B Rabbit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because last week you got Edelman mixed up with Danny Amendola.
Oh, all them Wes Welker, Amendola, Edelman, they all the same.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there. You got to get Keith out of it.
Yeah, B Rabbit.
Cancel Keith 2024. Cancel Keith. Get him out of here.
Anthony Mackie, Papa Doc.
Yeah.
Right here. Yeah.
Yeah, man. This is unfortunate turn of events, man. Dolph left a lot of property to his family, though.
Uh-huh.
He had like 100 houses, man.
Yeah, Dolph was getting to the money.
Yeah, he's seriously getting to the money. So,
mm-hmm.
In one of his lyrics, he said, "When I die, my son gonna be a rich little bastard."
That's a terrible thing to say.
It's a terrible line, but I think a lot of these rappers can sense their mortality. You even heard Tupac. He's like, I had a dream of enemies killing me in my sleep. I'm like, bro, you manifested your own death.
I think you're manifesting it, but I also think that they live a certain lifestyle that's just, you could kind of sense it, like if you thugging and you in the streets and you shooting people and you rapping about it and all this other stuff,
but Mac Miller wasn't in the streets doing that, but he still manifested his death with some of his songs.
Yeah, but he didn't get shot though.
No, he didn't, but he still was manifesting his death by certain things he was saying.
Yeah,
like he had an issue with drugs and it just, especially when his latest album started coming out, it's like he almost was out of here.
Yeah.
Some of his music was very dark before he passed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, huge fan of. It's sad being a huge rap fan, especially when some of your favorite artists aren't here anymore. I was a huge Mac Miller fan, Mac and Dolph, and Nipsey, most definitely.
Yeah.
Man. I'll tell you this much right now. Let's close this thing out. But I'm going to make a prediction. At the end of this year, or at the top of next year, P. Diddy is going to be implicated in the murder of Biggie and Tupac. They're going to find a way to tie him to that, and that's going to be an added charge.
Yeah. They already arrested the guy, so I could see that, Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, and Kim Porter wrote a book, but they're saying allegedly they don't know if it was her or if it was her that wrote the book, and the details of the book are fucking wild.
The dude, I don't know. That sounds like some. Like even the guy that put it out basically was saying he couldn't really confirm if it was from her or not, but he just put it out anyway. So I don't know, but I could see that. I could see Puffy being connected to the Pac thing because they were already saying that it's the same thing with the Young Dolph situation. Like part of the reason the dude snitched is because he didn't really get no bread. He didn't really get the bread that he was promised. Yeah. So he was like, well,
Keefy D.
Yeah, Keefy D. So same thing with him. I think that if it comes down to it, and I don't know how this thing is going to go, like if they're going to tack on some more charges or how that actually works in terms of the judicial system, but. Yeah, I could see him getting on a stand and being like, yeah, he promised us this amount of money. And it was like same thing with the Young Dolph situation and the dude getting on the stand. It's like, I think it would be the same thing. Like he told us he was going to pay us this, but he didn't. So, he called us on this day and he told us this, and we went to Las Vegas. And yeah, I think it could play out the same exact way.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah.
Everybody.
The thing about snitching is like they act like it's such a, like it's so taboo, like niggas snitches get stitches and all this, like all this cliches and jargon that they throw around, are like niggas are snitching, can't come back to the hood. Bro, people snitching every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Once they get telling us, if you don't tell me what we need to know, you're looking at 50 years.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. If you 21 years, if you 19 years old and somebody tell you getting 50 years, you about to tell on everybody.
Right.
They say, look, if you're not gonna snitch, you're not gonna say anything. We're gonna go to Popeyes, okay? We're gonna get a 20-piece biscuit with a biscuit. We'll be back and we can talk once you get the chicken, okay? Mm-hmm. And then you're gonna be eating the chicken, just telling everybody. Just like on First 48. Once they start snitching, they got a soda, they got cigarettes. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, I was over there. Ain't this chicken good? It's just snitching.
Yep.
With a pack of cigarettes too.
Yep. And the police ain't shit. After you snitch and they let you free, they gonna drop you off right in the hood. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
They'll drop you off right. And they know you snitch.
Yeah.
Especially if something bad happened, and the police drop you off.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Man. There's that. I got nothing else on it, Keith. You got anything else?
Nah.
Well,
rest in peace, young Dolph.
Yeah, rest in peace to Dolph, man. And it is starting to warm up in here. I'll be glad when the temperature finally just fucking stops.
Yeah,
damn.
Some sneaky heat this
My
week.
goodness. For the love of God, it's late September. Please stop. All right, man. Well, if you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to a Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out of here.
Peace.